Alright, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to start the process of winterizing the Kubota, and part of that is I want to fabricate some lifting rings that I will bolt onto the Snowblower so that it makes it easier to move it around using chains and whatnot as opposed to putting it on a pallet. Or if you're aware, I had made a dolly that I could roll the Snowblower attachment around on, but that's only if it's on a hard surface like the shop, but we have been keeping it down on the gravel pad, so those wheels didn't really work. So I'm going to fabricate some lifting rings, and then we're going to take it down to the gravel pad, drill through the shroud of the Snowblower, and lift it back up here so we can do some maintenance on it before winter. So what I have is some plate. I don't know how thick that is, but we're going to use the existing holes, and that will be what I drill through the shroud of the Snowblower. I'm going to use a hole saw to cut out the hole, and then we'll use the bandsaw to cut out the extra, and then we'll grind it down to make it nice. And I'll do the same for that. So I went and picked up a bimetal hole saw. I'm expecting this to probably last the 1 or the 2 holes. That's what I'm hoping, at least. And we're going to do that right about there. That will give me this much space between the two that I can cut and trim around it to make them looking a bit nicer. So that'll go there. And this one will go here, like that. And then these will be the holes that I use some screws, or these will be the holes I use the nuts and bolts to bolt it to the Snowblower. And then we'll use the Portaband, the Milwaukee Portaband, in the swag setup to cut those pieces out, and then use the grinders to clean up the edges. So we're going to get doing that right now. So I'm just going to put this together somehow. Figure this out. It's neat kind of how that goes. You just screw that in, and then these pins lock into place. And we'll put that in the chuck, and then we'll start. I'm going to drill smaller holes first. You know what? I think I'm just going to drill. We're just going to send it like that. Alright, so I've got it locked into where I want and tightened the tray, and we're just going to start this nice and slow, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll put another clamp on that. I don't think this is going to work.
Catch me or what?
Well, it just seems to be wobbling a bit. I've tightened everything down.
That's why
Alright, so now that's done, we'll do the other hole here. And there's the plug. I'll just get that set up and then I'll come back at you when we're making progress, and then we'll check in and see how it goes. Alright, I got the next one lined up, so we're just going to start drilling now. There we go, 2 holes. Let's get it cleaned up. All right, so there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half and then clean up the edges on the bandsaw. But first we're going to change the blade on the bandsaw. So this is a bit of a arduous task, so we'll do that now. And this portaband uses the, I always find it difficult to tell what, these ones, 48390611. So you just put it in like that, tighten it up. And then what I'll do is I'll turn it on and get the blades to get in the right position. Alright, and then I'll stick it back in the swag holder. There we go. Plug it back in. That's how you change a blade. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down the center as best as I can. No, I'm going to cut the edges off first, and then I'll cut it down the center. It's going to be freehand. You know what? I think I might use the grinder. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the grinder. Yeah, this is way too tough for this blade. Pretty good, but I think I'll use the grinder. It's easier to make the longer straight cuts. Alright, so all I did was take this and eyeball it. Give me my marks. I'm just showing you what I did off camera. Give me my score marks. I'll cut it out straight and then I can grind it rounded afterwards. So that gives me my measurements to the same all around. And we'll just hook up the cutting disc. I'll make short work of that. There we go. 2 brackets. Now I'm just going to round everything off, make it all nice, and then we'll take it down and drill it. And the reason I did these holes the size I did was 2 reasons. I wasn't sure. So the reason I did them the size that I did is I want them to be able to accept the hook to go through it as opposed to just hooking onto it. So this way I'll be able to put this on the side, even if it comes up a bit higher, which I expect it to come up about here. I'll still be able to slip this through on the side of the shroud for the snowblower, like that. So that's pretty good. I'll go clean this up and I'll come back at you. We're just going to try the grinding wheel, see how that goes. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just round to the edges a bit. That's going to take too long. Let's try the Portaman instead. And then I'll just use the buffing wheel to get those smoother. We're just going to clamp these together so that they're about the same. We are now going to go and install these on the snowblower down on the Woodchip Road and then bring it back up here. So let's go do that now. There's Beckham. What are you doing, bud? Oh, okay. All right, so what I was thinking is I'm going to... So, these are the brackets, and I wasn't sure if I was going to mount them here or here. You see that? If they're here, I'm afraid they're going to bend when I put a lot of pressure on it with a chain that goes up and over. So I might do it here. Something like that versus here. I don't know. I've been debating with that for a couple days, so I'm not sure what to do. Alright, so I think I'm going to put them on the side. I'm all clear up here. I just want to make sure I give myself enough space to have the nuts on the inside, which I do. So I think they're going to go right there. That looks good to me. The nice thing about doing just 2 holes is there are other holes here. So I'm not worried about the holes being there. It's fully welded at the back seam here. And if this turns out to be a bad spot, I can move them. I'm not too worried about it. Perfect. There. We will take this back up to the shop, take them off and paint them, but for now I just want to get these on so I can carry this back up to the shop. All right. So now we'll do the second one. And I'm just going to measure my distances to the holes on the other side with the calipers. 1331 with a gap of 902. Make sure that's straight. There we go. We'll drill these ones out. And these will go on like that. These ones are a bit, feels like the threads are a bit mangled. I'll get a wrench and we'll tighten these up. All right, so let's get the bucket off of the tractor. We'll put the pallet forks on the tractor. And this is gonna be really heavy and I don't have any ballast on the back of the tractor, so we're gonna hook up the box blade and then we're gonna lift this with chains. Let's get that started. And the reason I went with larger ring holes is because I wanted to be able to slip the entire hook through and then hook up to the chain properly. I didn't want to just hook it onto a small eyelet or something like that. So that was the only hole that I could use that was large enough to accept the hook. That. So let's see about switching this up so that we're going to drive the tractor forward so that the forks aren't rubbing on the chute. Alright, let's go up and see. That's perfect. I was afraid it was going to have a bit more of a forward lean, but I guesstimated the weight properly. I'm very happy with the way that's working. Up on the pallet forks, I think the hooks are going to work out great. So now I'll just back up and grab the box blade on the back with the quick hitch. Alright, let's go back up to the shop. All right, so there's a quick little video on how we made these chain stays, I guess, or chain lifts, or these are 13 mil grade 8 bolts.
These turned out sick. I like them a lot, actually. They work well?
Yeah, they didn't bend. I thought they would bend a bit, but they're great. So now we're going to take them off, spray paint them. Maybe I'll do black. I don't know if I have orange. Oh, I do have orange. Yeah, all right. So they'll get spray painted orange when we do the cleanup of this, which will be in the next video or so. We're going to go through and do its maintenance.
One thing that we could do, actually, is we could tack the bolts on the inside. That way it's a really simple system. You just bolt it in and out. And then that way it's like a...
So that's what Aiden's talking about. It's up in here. Is we might tack these nuts on the back.
Yeah. That way it's way easier to work on. Like, you just do everything from the outside. You use one tool. You know, super easy.
Yeah, we like that. So, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. What did you do on your land today? Because today we made lift points for the snowblower. And the reason I did that is because we do have a dolly for it. And that's great for doing around the shop stuff. But storing on the gravel pad, you can't use those dollies. So this way with the so this way with the pallet forks and a chain, we can lift it and take it wherever we need to. So that's much easier when it's outside of the property. Once we get that done, we are going to be removing the front bucket and arms and putting the snowblower attachment on. And then when this is all cleaned up and ready to go, we'll be doing that. Thanks very much.